It is Selection Sunday, and as of right now, I got no clue who's going to win it all. I got no clear-cut favorite as to who is going to cut down the nets in San Antonio. Now, this isn't going to be the craziest NCAA tournament of all time because that goes to the 2011 tourney where you saw a 7-seed in Connecticut beat 8-seeded Butler in the national title game. I mean, that tournament was just complete shenanigans, complete unpredictability. Now, we might see a little bit of that, but not to the same extent that we saw in 2011. So who is the favorite? I think the most talented team on paper is Michigan State, but something about them hasn't looked right all season long. They only had 4 losses during the regular season, but I don't know. They lost in the Big Ten tournament, and I don't think they're going to win it all. I don't know. The 2 most consistent teams all season long, Virginia and Villanova. Now, the thing about these two, although we did see Villanova win it all a couple years ago, they always bow out in the second round. And Virginia, well, they always get beat earlier than you expect too. I mean, we've seen them plenty of times get seeded number 1 or 2, lose in the second round, lose in the Sweet 16, sayonara. The 2 hottest teams right now, you're looking at Michigan in the Big Ten. They've really put it all together. They got great guard play. You got Wagner inside, who's like a stretch 4, stretch 5. I like the way Kentucky's playing. I like the way that they defend. And they just took down Tennessee in the SEC final today. And that was a team that didn't look good to start the year, but they got better and better as the season has gone along. It reminds me of that Kentucky team back in 2011, coincidentally, that reached the Final Four as a 4 seed, and that's where I have Kentucky as a 4 seed. Duke was a team that I thought started to kind of start putting it together. Ever since they went to that zone, they started killing teams. But then Notre Dame and North Carolina, they exploited that zone with good passing. You put a big man in the middle, and you let him do work. Well, Duke just lost to North Carolina. Now, North Carolina, it's not a bad team to lose to by any means. But if you're going to win it all, I would have liked to see Duke win the ACC tournament. So as of right now, I don't know who the national champion is going to be, but we'll see how the brackets turn out at about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whenever the hell they announce the damn thing, because from what I'm reading, they're going to unveil all 68 teams first, and then they're going to put them in brackets. Why do they have to extend the coverage? Ugh, just give me my fucking bracket and let me fill it out. Damn it. Makes me bitter. Why this channel's still the Bitter Birds, by the way. All right. So I got my bracket. I'm going to put everything in the description box because I'm not going to go and list all my matchups or whatever. But my number 1 seeds, number 1 overall, I got Virginia, then Villanova, Kansas, and Xavier. I kept Xavier on the 1 line despite losing to Providence in the Big East semifinals. My last 4 teams in, I've got Oklahoma, Arizona State, Texas, and UCLA. Oklahoma and Arizona State. I'm really curious how the committee handles them because if you look at their resume and their overall body of work, I think they are tournament teams because of who they beat earlier in the season. But these 2 teams are free-falling right now. And coincidentally, Arizona State and Oklahoma, that's who I have playing in one of the play-in games. So one of those free-falling teams is going to win in terms of my bracket. I'm really curious to see what they do with Notre Dame because Notre Dame, when you watch them play with Bonzie Colson, that's a tournament team. And I remember last year they put Wichita State in the tournament, and Fred VanVleet was hurt for a lot of the season, but they still made the tourney, and they were in the play-in game, and they won a play-in game. So I'm curious to see if the Irish get the benefit of the doubt. The problem is when you look at their resume, they are only 2-9 against the quadrant 1. Now, by the way, they've kind of changed things around as to what the criteria is. They're looking at these quadrants now. They used to look at top 25 wins against the RPI, top 50, top 100. But now they got something called quadrants. And in quadrant 1, you record a victory if you beat a team in the top 30 at home. You also get a quadrant 1 win if you beat a team on a neutral floor against the top 50 neutral floor team. And then you also get one if you beat a top 75 team on the road. So that constitutes a quadrant 1 win. Well, against quadrant 1 teams, Notre Dame just 2-9. They beat Wichita State on a neutral floor earlier in the season. I believe that was the Maui Invitational, if I remember correctly. And but after that, their next best win is at Syracuse, and I don't even have Syracuse making the tournament. So I'm curious how the committee handles them. So my 2 seeds, I got North Carolina, Duke, Michigan State, and Purdue. I would have had Tennessee on the 2 line had they beat Kentucky, but they didn't. All right, so I do have a couple sleepers, dark horse teams. And I'm talking mid-majors, Cinderellas. I really like Loyola-Chicago. I'm high on them. They won the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. This is a team that likes to defend to set up their break. So they stifle you in the half court, and then they get the rebound, and they go. They got a really good point guard and a kid by the name of David Custer. He can penetrate a defense and find the open man. And this team also shares the ball very well. So they like to go out on the break, but they also can break you down in the half court because of how well they pass the basketball. So this is my dark horse Sweet 16 team. I have them as an 11 seed. Watch out for them. Also watch out for South Dakota State. They got a kid by the name of Mike Daum that's been leading their conference in scoring for seemingly 5 years now, but I believe it's just 2. Back-to-back Summit League Player of the Year for that guy. Davidson, by the way, them winning the Atlantic 10 tournament today shrunk the bubble by a spot. And I had St. Bonaventure initially in the tournament, but because of Davidson's win, they get knocked out. So I listed my last 4 in. My first 4 out, I got St. Bonaventure, Notre Dame, Middle Tennessee, and Syracuse. And then you go, it's Louisville, Baylor, Marquette, and Oklahoma State. Those are my next 4 out. So that is my bracket. If you have any complaints, let me know in the comment section because I'm going to put it in the description box in the comment section. That's how I'm going to do this. I'm not going to go and list all of my teams. That's kind of ridiculous. But if you want to see it, here it is. Here's my notebook. I don't know if you can read anything. So there you go. And I also, hey, I do in-depth research on this shit. So it's not like I just went and put everything together. I just spent the last couple hours doing this. So there's a process to this. I used to be the bracketologist when I used to work at the sports network. I was the bracketologist guy. I did the bracketology stuff. I had bracketology columns. But now I'm just doing it for YouTube and doing it for shits and giggles because, well, I'm better than Joey Brackets. That's all. So I have, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I list the teams. I put the RPI, the record, the conference record, strength of schedule, top 25 record, top 50, top 100, and then the quadrant ones. And then I got bad losses. So that's how I do it. That's how I do my bracketology. Let's see how I do tonight. Brackets unveiled at, they say 6, but who the hell knows? Freaking idiots at TBS extending the coverage of this shit. Ridiculous.